Wicked. This is Jet from jetspencer.com, and what I want to talk to you today about is how you get good with girls. So, getting good with women is not something that you do, it's something that you are. So, keep that in mind when you're first starting your journey with success with women. This is not something that is going to happen overnight. It is also not something that is inherently you got it or you do not have it. And this is a huge paradigm shift for guys who are brand new to the idea of seduction and being able to actively choose who your partner is rather than have it dictated to you by either your work, your school, or your social circle. And the cool thing about this is that I want to ask you a question. If, and this is a big if you had the profound ability to go out there and choose the woman that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with, how much would you invest in order to get good at that skill set? How much time, how much money, how much effort would you put forth in order to allow yourself the ability to go up to a beautiful girl, say hello, introduce yourself, and have her be your girlfriend? It's something that's really, really cool, and something that a lot of guys don't even realize is actually possible. You see, when I first got into the idea of seduction or meeting women or success with women, this was something that really, really resonated with me. I'll tell you a bit about my own personal journey. When I first got into this, I actually used to physically shake around women. I was absolutely terrified. I didn't know how to approach a woman. I didn't know how to talk to a woman. I didn't know how to do anything with a woman, quite frankly. And I remember being in high school, and there was a moment where I believe I was in 9th or 10th grade, and I was sitting down next to a girl, beautiful girl, and we had sort of talked, not like in that sense, but more like the whole we're friends type of aspect, and I wanted to be more than friends. And I remember we were just sitting next to each other, and our legs just barely touched. And I remember this distinct emotion going all the way up my spine, all the way to the top of my head, and then shooting all the way back down. Just an energy just filling my body. And I realized something was really, really wrong. Something was not right about this. There shouldn't be a moment where someone just touches you and it feels so good to just get that slight little bit of feminine energy that suddenly I was in a sedative state, basically. I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything, and it was quite pathetic, to be completely honest with you. Getting to where I am now, and I'm by no means perfect, but I'm quite skilled, I would say. I can go up to a beautiful girl, I can say hello, I can introduce myself to her, I can, let's say I meet her out in the daytime, I could take her right then and there if she wanted to, and go get a coffee with her, and perhaps a few hours later go grab a drink with her, and then bring her to either her place or my place, and we would cement a moment together. And I'm sure you know what that means. And quite frankly, being able to do this is kind of mind-blowing, because seeing that I can go to a city, let me just break it down. Okay, so let's say you live in Chicago right now, and you have a job interview in Seattle. So you fly out to Seattle, and you get the job, and they accept you. So now you must take your entire life in Chicago, your friends, your social circle, all the people from work, your entire life, and leave that all behind so you can now move to Seattle. And everything's brand new. You got a new job, you got a new gym, and you don't have any social life whatsoever. What if, rather than having your life dictated by your surroundings, whether it be your work, your school, what if you could actually go out, say you just landed in Seattle, and feeling a little sleepless in Seattle, and you ended up going out going out to a local coffee shop, seeing a beautiful girl sitting there reading a book, and you introduced yourself, and all went very well. You either got her phone number or, maybe had a date with her right then and there, and you guys end up hooking up, and she becomes your girlfriend. All of a sudden, you're in a brand new city, and you're able to suddenly just create the social environment that you want. You're able to dictate the people that you surround yourself in your entire life, which is pretty incredible. And I think a lot of people take this type of stuff for granted. You see, there's the big three. You got health, you got wealth, and you got relationships. And the really sad thing is that many people completely take that last one of the big three, relationships, and just completely just say, no big deal. I'll let it happen when it happens. I'll wait until the girl magically comes from the magical pixies, ferments herself into this magical goddess, and arrives into my life. Rather than being the person who is able to manifest his own destiny and go out there, choose the girl that he desires, and have her as your girlfriend. Or not. This is the cool thing about it too. You're no longer coming from a place where, you meet that one special girl and you're suddenly infatuated with a woman you just met. Instead, you're able to choose from an abundance of women. You're able to be dating multiple women at a time. And rather than coming from a place where you're like, oh man, I hope Emily doesn't leave me. Don't leave me, Emily. Rather than coming from that mindset, you're like, man, I got Emily, I got Jennifer, I got Jessica, I got Sarah, I got Susan, I got all these different girls. And then over time, you can move your way down from five, say you're seeing 5 girls, down to 3 girls, until you're just down to 1 girl. Or not. You actually have that option. So you're able to actually choose. You can actually have a life of full abundance and surround yourself with women that you are actually deeming worthwhile of your time. You see, a lot of people, especially in today's world, just simply exist. And they don't actually have those loving, passionate relationships. You need only look into the current divorce dilemma, if that's what you would like to call it, which is what I'll call it here. And you'll understand that, over 50%, and I'm sure that number is actually probably a lot higher. It's probably more around 60% of people get divorced. And the reason why is because a lot of people don't actually know who they're marrying, or they're coming from a place of deep scarcity where they believe if this person was to leave their life and leave their existence, they wouldn't be able to find another partner. And coming from this place of weakness, it really puts you in this dark place because you feel like you're stuck. The thing about relationships is this. You have, going back into the health, wealth, relationships thing, if you want to get better health, you go to the gym, you eat organic, you drink clean water, you do either yoga or some form of stretching or meditation. And if you do all those things, there's a good chance you're going to be in a really phenomenal shape and really great health. If you want to make more money, you can either work more jobs, get creative, have a entrepreneurial type mindset where you have an idea and you create content and sell that content to your viewers, i.e. here, or you get to the point where you're at the relationship phase and people are completely lost. They're like, man, I really want to get good in this aspect of my life, but I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Help me, Jet. Where do I go? What do I do? Where's the content? In order to get good at any skill, you have to put in the work. And this is the same thing that goes with seduction, success with women, or relationships, getting better at it, socializing in general. This is something that takes time. This isn't something that you just become. This is like, to go back to the whole basketball thing and putting it into a whole mindset of seduction and success with women. That's like, hey, you see a Victoria's Secret model walking down the street. And you've never approached a woman in your entire life. You have no idea what you're doing. and you go up to her, do you expect yourself to be Casanova on the first try? You think you're going to be Mr. Don Juan the first time you go up to her? She's just going to be like, oh my God, take me now. No, that's not going to happen. Most likely, she's going to give you a polite no thank you and be on her way. And the reason why is because you just haven't gotten the skill set yet. You don't know what you're doing, and just like the whole basketball metaphor, this is something that you must grow into. This is something that you must continually practice until you get better at it. You know, it sounds so simple. It really does. It sounds so fucking simple. A little too simple for a lot of people. They're like, it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. Wait. You're telling me if I go out, I approach women, introduce myself as a man talks to a woman, and, you know, I can actually get better at it? I can get better at chatting up chicks? I can go on more dates? I can sleep with more women? You're saying that I can actually choose the relationship that I want to be in? You're saying that I can actually marry the girl that I want to marry rather than the one that just happened to come into my life? Is that real? Yes, it's very much real. It's something that I've been living for the last 5+ years. You see, like I said before, when I first got into this, I was ridiculous. I didn't know what I was doing, and quite frankly, a lot of the information that's out there on this subject, if you were to go into mainstream media narrative, you look at, you know, the movies out there, and it's the guy like running after the girl in the car. No, don't leave me! You know, do you really think this needy behavior, if it was to ever to be exhibited in a real life situation, that something like that would actually work? No. And that's the big problem. Hollywood, the social narrative, media, pretty much everything around us is consistently saying, you know, don't be this amazing guy who actually gets to choose who he wants in his life. Just be that lovey-dovey little guy, and you'll find your lovely girl. Just patience, man. And then guys, they wait, they're 18, then they're 28, then they're 38, and then they're like, man, these girls really aren't coming into my life like, the whole super love story I've been told my whole life. Now he's 48, and it's like, now he's almost dead. Sorry for all you who are watching at this point, but it's just like, you have to fight that narrative. You have to understand that in order to get good with girls, you have to actually go out there and practice this. And over time, just like any other skill, you're going to get better and better and better and better. This is basically how it goes. You go out. You have no idea what you're doing. You go out, you introduce yourself to a couple women, and they're either very rude to you, or they're just like, no thanks. No thank you. Or, have a good one. It was a pleasure to meet you. And it's that very condescending, nice try. Good try, bud. And you have to get beyond that. You have to get to the point where you're actually going up to the woman, you're stepping to her hard, you're giving her that good, strong eye contact, relaxed body language, just being your true, authentic personality, screening her. You want to look at, the type of woman that she is beyond just her looks, and actually figure out who the heck she is. And when you're coming from this frame, where you're actually like, maybe not in a judgmental way, but you're just saying, is this the type of person that I want to surround myself with? Is this the type of woman that I would like to become a part of my life? Whether it be for a night, whether it be for a month, whether it be for a year, whether it be for a lifetime. Is this the type of woman that I want in my world? And when you're coming from this frame rather than, please like me, I want a girlfriend so bad, and I haven't been able to get a girlfriend, and no. No. Don't do that. So the typical learning curve typically goes like this. For someone who is completely socially inept or socially retarded, this is going to take you a couple years. This will take years of your life. But you have to ask yourself, if this took, let's say, 5 years, 10, maybe even 10 years, maybe even 20 years, what other option do you got? What other option do you have? You can either come from a position where you're in deep scarcity and you're just wishing for that one girl and you're going to hold on to her and strangle that relationship until she no longer wants to be with you. Or you can come from a place where you don't care, you're allowing the women to be around you, and you're able to choose them. Where do you want to be? How much time, again, how much time are you willing to invest in this? And it won't take everybody all those years. It won't take everybody that much time. It took me a little bit longer than a lot of people. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and it can actually be quite mind-boggling and really screw you over more than it can help you. And one thing that is pinnacle and absolutely key is that going out there and doing this, going out there and actually talking to girls and hitting them up and chatting them up and everything that has to do with that aspect is going to be a lot more critical to your learning curve and your learning experience than any article, any book, or anything I will ever say to you. Point blank, period. So, if you have the option of either going out, socializing, and chatting up beautiful girls, or reading that one more book on seduction, self-help, self-development, go with the experience. Because even if you go out there and get rejected 20, 30, 40, 50 times, you're going to learn a lot more from those 40 plus rejections than you will sitting at home for those 5 or 6 hours devouring a book. Going out there and being a practitioner of these things. See, this is a big thing that has to do with pretty much any skill set. If you're going to listen to someone who is actively teaching something to you, make sure they are a practitioner. Make sure that they are someone who actually does this. You want to be the living embodiment of this, because there's those armchair philosophers who would love to tell you about how to get good with girls. You know, those men's health magazines, the things I was telling you about before from Hollywood. Just be you, man. Just be cool, man. You know, that type of advice. A lot of this stuff, and it's well intentioned, but a lot of this stuff that you're hearing out there is actually from people who have had very little success with women. The average 25-year-old woman has had 3 times as many partners as the average 25-year-old male. So if that's the case, how is that possible? How is it that women who are 25 years old are having 3 times as many partners as 25-year-old men? Well, it's because women are sleeping with a small select group of men while the other guys are getting the scraps. And that's basically what's happening. It's basically the Pareto principle in real life. That whole 80-20 rule. 80% of the girls sleep with 20% of the guys. And to be completely honest with you, I feel like it's more 90-10. Here's another stat that will blow your mind. 25-year-old men, 1 in 4 are virgins. 1 in 4 men who are 25 years old are virgins. And this isn't, this doesn't mean that, everybody has to go out and have sex. But if you're a healthy young male, I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you want to have sex, you want to have women in your life, you want to have abundance, you want to have relationships, and you want to be out of this living hell that you've probably been living in, like I once was. And you're coming at this like, man, I'm willing to do anything to get this part of my life handled. And if you don't want to be one of those guys, if you want to be that whole 20% of that Pareto principle, you have to actually go out and do this stuff. So let's get deeper into that whole aspect of it. What do you do? how do you actually get better at it? Like, you're being kind of esoteric, Jet. You're being kind of cryptic. Like, what exactly do you mean by go out there and chat up girls? That's what I mean. Go out there and chat up girls. You just go out, um, choose a day, whether you're walking around doing your daily tasks and you just happen to see a girl that you want to approach, just go up to her and just keep it really simple, really light. You don't have to do any gimmicks or tricks or tactics. Just go up there and introduce yourself. It's really simple. Just be like, hey, my name, this is something that I pretty much say all the time. Hey, my name's Jet. You had this very elegant energy to you. What's your name? And give her like a genuine compliment. If you like the way she walks, or if you like the way she carries herself, or you like the way, she moves, or something that you can comment on that she's doing, per se. It can either be situational or something that, you could just give her a generic compliment. But by hitting her with something where, you're actively talking about how she carries herself, this is something that women keep themselves in very high esteem about, is carrying themselves in a particular manner. And if you're able to comment on the way she moves or walks or radiates, or the type of aura that she gives out to the world, you're telling herself something about herself, and she's going to be much more inclined to talk to you. So after you get the conversation going, per se, learn about her. Screen her a little bit, figure out what she's all about. Those first 20 or 30 seconds of the conversation, you're going to have to front load a lot of your personality. And what do I mean by that? Well, you're going to go up, you're going to be like, oh, hey, say your compliment, and then just simply start talking. It can be about anything. Anything that's really just close to your heart at that moment. You could just say, hey, I don't really do something like this, but this is cool. I saw you, I had to come chat you up, and, just go from there. And the cool thing about this is that a lot of girls are going to be very, very open to this. Especially during the daytime, because they're just never approached. Most girls and most guys go through their daily lives and they walk by the opposite sex. Maybe they make eye contact and then they just walk by each other. And that's the end of the interaction. And it's really sad, because there's an entire world out there of men and women who are, extremely lonely, or people that are just looking to be in a relationship, or maybe they're just looking to have an adventure or something of that aspect, and you happen to pop into their life, and you happen to be just a genuine, authentic human being who's giving value, doesn't want anything from her. You're just sharing yourself with her and screening for chemistry, and if it happens to happen organically, then it happens. And the cool thing about it is that just being a man, just being a guy, is enough. And the thing is that guys believe that a lot of this has to do with looks. It's about the looks, it's about the money, it's about the power. And I'm not going to say that there isn't small incentives to having money and power and looks. Obviously, these types of things help, but what a woman's truly looking at when she's scanning you up and down is to see if you're the real deal. If the behaviors that you're exhibiting is you actually putting your balls on the line and actually going for it. Showing intent, being like, not saying, hey, I feel unworthy of you, or this isn't something that I deserve, or this isn't something that I should have. This is something that, you're not afraid to show her that you like her. Women want to be desired. And a lot of guys are completely still stuck on that looks, power, money paradigm. And what a woman's really looking at is your behavioral traits. She's looking to see if the behaviors you're exhibiting are something that would aid in either her survival or her reproduction of her children. So I'm gonna get pretty deep right here. So the aspects of how to get good with girls really just buries down, the deep down, it has to do with survival and reproduction. When a woman devotes herself to you, whether in a relationship or sex, she's actually saying, I'm willing to rear your children. And even in today's age, even though we have condoms and birth control and safe sex practices, her body and her subconscious mind don't understand that. What they understand is that we're copulating, we're having sex, and it's something that I could potentially have children with this man. Does this man show behaviors of someone in the like prehistoric era? Is this the type of man whose genes would survive? Would their children survive to the next era? And that's basically what a lot of this has to deal with. In terms of the whole rich and famous thing, you know, you got to be rich, you got to have power, you got to have this, you got to have that. It's just not true. And you'll realize it because if you see just some of the guys out there who are surrounded with beautiful women, and don't get me wrong, you know, there is going to be those anomalies, and there is going to be, of course, the you know, the studs of the world, the athletes, the rich and famous, if you will, who will be surrounded by beautiful women. But what you'll also notice is that there are these subsets of guys who, you know, maybe they're just like regular average dudes, and they seem to have not just one girl, but they have two or three or four or five or six or seven or eight or nine or 10. I mean, like, it's literally, the sky is truly the limit. And the thing is not everybody who gets into this, who's trying to get good with girls, is trying to be Mr. Casanova, Mr. Don Juan. Maybe you just want a girlfriend. But the way of going about it and getting to that point is all the same. You have to go out there, you have to put your balls on the line, you have to go and get rejected by hundreds, if not thousands of women. You have to understand the patterns, you have to see where you went wrong, you have to learn from it. Then you go out the second day. You go out there, you get rejected another couple dozen times, you know, you learn from it, you go back out there, you go out and you go out and talk to more girls, you get rejected again. You know, you will learn from it, you forget, you go back home. I mean, there's a lot of pain associated with this process. You're going to get a lot of rejection, a lot of no's before you start getting a lot of yeses. So this has gotten to be a bit of a rant, and I really just want you to understand that you can transcend social conditioning. You can get to a point where you have actual choice in your life. You can surround yourself with people, with women, with business partners, with, you know, the sky's the limit, truly. When you get good with women and you go out and you're getting rejected, and, you know, you're going to have some success along the way, and, you know, in 3 months you're going to get pretty good. You know, then in 6 months you're going to be even better. And then in another 6 months you're going to be amazing. And then a year from then you're going to be awesome. And then another 2 years from then you're going to be just incredible, right? And you're not even going to have to think about this anymore. This is just something that is going to be you. And the cool thing about it, in terms of getting good with women, is that it hits the entire health-wealth relationship dynamic. You get better at everything. In terms of social dynamics in general, you're able to influence people more easily. You're able to generate a positive outcome a lot more often. You know, not all the time. There's always going to be that, you know, the layer of communication between two people. The person still has to agree with what you're presenting them with. But, you know, you're going to get very, very good at that. You're going to be able to understand group dynamics, how to best host a party, how to generate a social circle on command, how to introduce people, how to, you know, be Mr. Charismatic, how to actually be Casanova, how to be a libertine, how to be modern, how to live an amazing life. And it's really cool. It's really, really exciting. So don't get down on yourself. Understand that this is simply a skill set that must be learned. just like anything else in life, if you put yourself on the line, you put your balls on the line, you continue to strive, you continue to conquer your own emotions, you keep going out there, you keep building on yourself, you keep learning, you keep fighting, you keep grinding, you keep hustling, no matter what you do, you will get good at this. I have never seen a guy who has gone out 7 days a week not get good really, really fast. Don't be stuck behind a computer screen. Don't get stuck in every book. Just go out there, go chat up chicks. It's no big deal. Nobody cares. Girls want you to succeed just as much as you do. They want to meet a cool, charismatic, fun guy who's actually willing to have the balls to go up and talk to them. Because nobody does it, and the fact that you do will make you an amazing man. That's it. This is Jet from jetspencer.com. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe, like, and or comment, my friend. And good fortune to you, my friend.
It's Spencer!